Hi, welcome to Cyprus. This is the stunning Aphrodite Hills Golf Resort. Out here with golf breaks, filming some content to hopefully help you play better in 2017. Today's topic is all about the pivot and how this can affect the golf club in the backswing. And we're going to categorize the pivot into three options. And we're going to let you decide which one you fall into and then give you some ways of improving that. So the purpose of this video, the pivot, is how the body rotates. And we're talking more specifically in the backswing. Now, as we said a minute ago, I'm going to categorize this pivot into three different types. Now, all of those three can be done with the head staying very, very still. So those golfers out there who are trying to stay a little bit more centered over the golf ball and feeling like their head stays a little bit more centered, unfortunately, you can still make a poor pivot even though your head is staying still. But we're going to go through that today and give you some ideas that might help you improve that. So let's go through what those three are. So I'm just going to take the golf club away for the moment and put it across my shoulders. Just helps us sort of focus on what we're trying to look at, which is the body movement. Now, as I said, all these three are going to be done with the head staying pretty still. So let's just go through those three. I'm just going to do the three together and then you'll see hopefully the difference. So this is option number one. So head stays nice and still, but you can see how my hips and my pelvis move excessively towards the target. Pivot number two, again, head's going to stay pretty still, but you can see this time how my hips have moved away from the target and I've certainly got a different look in my upper body. And option number three would be hopefully something that looks like a nice blend of number one and number two, and this would be the one that we're trying to get more golfers to move into. Now, why is this important? Well, it's really important because how the body moves and how we pivot is certainly going to have a huge influence on how this thing moves around your body. And ultimately, how the club moves around your body is going to contribute to the delivery and the resulting shot. So if you've got issues down at impact, it could well be that the golf club is not moving around your body in the right fashion, and that can be very much linked to the pivot. So what would we tend to see the golf club doing if we pivot incorrectly? Well, if I was to make a movement where my head stays pretty still, but my hips move excessively towards the target, I can often find that the golf club stays very, very low, and it can often work a little bit more inside or under plane, as you might call it. Those golfers who have the opposite, where their hips slide away and they have too much extension, can often find that the golf club works a little bit too much upwards. Looking at that from the front view, we're going to see some very, very different things. Again, you can see how from here, that's a very, very different body shape to this one. Now, from those different pivots, we're going to get different impact conditions. And we really want to try and control our impact conditions because impact is really the only thing we're trying to focus on in the golf swing. So what are we trying to do? Well, I would actually get you to make some rehearsals with a camera or even a mirror or a reflection. That works absolutely fine. And just start to make some different movements and see which one you fall into. Now, I'm a big believer in actually getting golfers to practice different movements just so you can recognize what the right one is. So what I actually get you to do is try and actually make some movements that fall into those three categories. So I would be standing opposite a mirror and I'd be making the incorrect move, an incorrect move, and then trying to find one that fits in between those. Yes, we'd like to practice the right pivot, but if we can actually recognize what the two others feel like, it, for me, leaves us in a better place to start to, focus in on the one we actually want. I would like golfers to actually, experiment with these movements, feel what it's like to have the pelvis move excessively towards the target, and then feel what the opposite one is like. And it may well help you decide when you're practicing whether you've made a better move or not. So for example, if I rehearse those in a mirror, when I'm at the golf course or practicing, and I make a backswing move such as this, I might suddenly start to recognize that, that's my poor pivot where the pelvis goes towards the target. I need to work more towards X, Y, Z. So use a mirror, use a reflection, start to look at your pivot and see whether you fall into category 1, category 2, or category 3. And if you fall into one of those poorer ones, it's definitely going to affect what that club's doing around your body, and that ultimately is going to affect where that ball's going. So what would I like to see? Well, I would like to see the head staying pretty centered, and I would like to see the hips staying fairly centered. Now, if you can see, you've got two lines on my hips there. My preference would be that as I make my backswing, I would like my right hip to maybe slightly move away from its starting position. So I've created a little bit of daylight there, but notice how my lead hip hasn't gone excessively towards the target. That's certainly not what I would like. The more the hips go excessively towards the target in the backswing, the harder it is to transfer pressure, and we generally find that the pressure gets left too early and we can have knock-on effects from there. So let's think about how you move your body. Let's recognize that we've got three options. Getting closer to the good pivot is going to help that club move around your body in a better fashion, and ultimately that's going to help you hit some better golf shots. Right, let me go ahead and hit one into this par 3. I've got a 6-iron. It's playing about 195 yards, not much breeze, so I'm going to try and move my body in that good way, see if we can get it on the green. Okay, and I've been pretty happy with that. It's a little left of the flag, but I should be putting. Yeah, it's actually gone. Landed, went a bit right. It's actually a bit closer than it looked like it was going to be in the air. So understanding the pivot, really, really key. That's going to control how the club moves around your body, and ultimately that's going to affect what happens down at impact. Thank you very much for watching. Big thank you to Aphrodite Hills for hosting me here for a few days. Thanks to Golf Breaks for making it happen. All the usual stuff is down below the video. That's the like box, the like button I should say, the comments box, and a link to subscribe to my channel. If you're not a subscriber, I would urge you to do so. Click that link. Loads more videos just like this one coming each week, helping you play some better golf in 2017.